Hi, good evening. My name is Jay Rothman, and welcome to Real Men, Real Talk Live. Hi, good evening. Welcome back. I am the host of the show again. My name is Jay Rothman. Welcome to Real Men, Real Talk Live. I'm excited this evening to introduce our co-host coming in from the man of the land from down under. He calls Australia home. Everest Love Heath, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me as always, brothers. Looking forward to diving in deep.
All right, we got it. No doubt. I have no doubt that you will bring it home one way or another. You're going to break it down tonight for all of us and our viewers. Jeff Fasano coming in from Nashville, Tennessee, hot off of a trade show, walking the floors all day of NAMM. Welcome to the show tonight, Jeff Fasano.
Thank you, Mr. Rothman. Welcome, folks. Glad you're here and glad you're paying attention to us tonight.
Exactly. Well, if you're paying attention, you'll realize that there's three amigos, and we're down one. Josh Richer, unfortunately, is on set, 13th season, shooting the next 18 days or so for the Shark Tank. So unfortunately, Josh was doing everything he could do to be here tonight, but unfortunately, he's been putting in, I think, 18-hour days, and it's going to go for about 18 days in a row. So unfortunately, he's not with us tonight, but we'll do our best to keep us engaged in tonight's topic as we wait for viewers to jump on with us tonight. I'd like to welcome viewers coming in from Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and tonight, welcome to LinkedIn Live coming in tonight. We are now on the LinkedIn platform. So if you are watching us, viewers, if you're able to comment, I'm not sure if they have the capacity to do that or not. If you do, we will do our best to acknowledge any comments or questions you may have for the three of us. If you should hear something that you like or love, with love, please tap your love button on your monitor so that we can be lit up and take us to the next level of consciousness in our conversation. Last week, gentlemen, our topic was all about manifesting the life that you want. Tonight's topic is going from seeking attention to living a life of intention. And it's a topic that kind of is really almost like a part two of how to manifest, whether it be relationships or career or even health and wellness in your life. But I want to invite you, Ev, to warm us up this evening and kick us off on how can we go from living a life of seeking attention, and are we one of those people? Are we seeking attention, or are we living within creating intention for our life? And what is the difference? And so welcome to the show, Ev. Start us off, if you may.
Thanks for having me, Mr. Rothman, man. And my brothers and sisters on the other side of the pond, as always, here in the land down under, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And the brothers on tonight's show. And sorry you haven't seen you tonight, Mr. Josh Richer. But as always, my brother, we know you're always here in spirit, my man. So, yeah, we're diving in deep tonight, my brothers and sisters, about seeking that attention and going into that intentional living or intentional life. And, man, I'll put my hand up. I've been on both sides of the party, no doubt, in my life. You know, there was times within my life, I know I was seeking attention, but it was the attention that I was seeking from that wounded child. It was the attention that I was seeking, maybe because I was never heard, maybe because I was never seen, maybe because I wasn't listened to as that child, for the attention that I was seeking. Later on in my life, and I started to get a little bit more purpose about what it was I truly desired in my life and what it is I truly wanted to manifest in my reality, I started to see that my life had gone into a new state of being. And why I say that, my brothers and sisters, because as always within our show on Real Men Real Talk Live, you know, we're diving in deep about a lot of metaphysical stuff. And when we talk metaphysical, we're talking in that more energetic side of things, which people might even know as the quantum level. Well, some, ancient tribes, you'll know my people, we call it spiritual level. So whatever you may call it, at that very fabric of each and every one of us, my brothers and sisters in the physical dimension, we are energy and information. Let me say that again. We're just energy and information. And to change that energy information, it has to be done with conscious attention and intention. So tonight on a Real Men Real Talk Live, man, we're going to be diving in deep on how you can become more conscious about what you may be paying focus to with your attention to direct that attention into an intentional life or intentional living. So I'm looking forward to diving in deep with my brothers tonight. Again, sorry we haven't seen you, Mr. Richer, but we know we'll see you through the week in the green room.
Beautiful. What I'd like to do also, Ev, as you did a great framing for the show tonight, as our viewers are jumping on, if you're relatively new or new to the show, please let us know where you call home today so that we can acknowledge you, whether you're coming in from the US of A, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, London, India, anywhere across the world. Let us know so we could welcome you to the podcast. Jeff Pisano, what do you make of what Ev just had to say tonight?
What stuck with me, what Ev just said, is being conscious. We all, when we do this work and do the inner work, we want to become conscious and aware of our behaviors, and that's an inner thing that is really important to do, to look at our behaviors and see what we're doing and why we're doing. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? And become conscious and aware. Are we doing things in our life to seek attention from outside of ourselves, to bring the focus onto us, which, as Ev just said, really bringing the focus on the wounded child inside of us who never received the attention from mom and dad at the age of 5, 10, even 15 years old. And we constantly are now seeking that attention outside of that. Look at me, look at what I've done, look at what I've created, look at me constantly. And then shift and become aware of that. Just simply become aware. Am I just seeking attention? Thus, what goes along with that is validation and gratification. So if you're seeking the attention outside of yourself to be seen and always be seen, what really is happening is you're seeking validation and gratification from outside of yourself. What is important to do is to become conscious and aware of this behavior and then come to terms with it. Try not to shame and judge yourself with it and say, oh, that's what I'm doing and why am I doing that? And then proceed and continue with that inner work of moving into a deeper place of honoring, valuing, and loving yourself so we can be who we are. And then with that, we no longer just seek it outside of ourselves. We know who we are. We love ourselves. We honor and value ourselves. And we all are in different places with that. But it's about a process of moving from the outer to the inner. It is always a process of moving from the outer to the inner. Everything that we do in this inner process of self-mastery is moving from the outer to the inner so we can fortify ourselves in the depth and breadth of who we are, so we can come from a place of powerfulness. So then we are redirecting, as Ev said, that energy outside of ourselves with intention. And with that intention comes purpose. So it is about what we are doing, why we are doing that, and what is the intention behind everything that we do. It is so important to be conscious and aware that everything that we do in the world outside of us is done and should be done with conscious intention. Why am I doing this? Why am I going there? What's the importance of it? And then we can redirect our will for life outside of ourselves.
All right. So, Jeff, let me ask you this. Let's just cut to the chase. This is where we're going to get real. Were you ever an attention seeker? And if the answer, okay, yes. So how did you seek attention? What was your strategy? And when did you, well, let's start there and then I'll give you a follow-up question.
As a photographer at the beginning of my photography career. So what I was doing is when I identified myself in those first 18 years in the corporate world, I identified myself as that. My identity of who I was, I had no identity of who I was in those 18 years in that corporate world and living in that life, because my identity was always me looking outside of myself to my dad to say, you're wonderful, you're great, you're this, you're that. And I lived those first 18 years of my life, and if I looked at all of them, was to please dad. Until I started to grow somewhere inside of myself, said, this is not resonating. This is not resonating with me at all. And then I made that choice to shift. So then came another layer of that. When I started to do this photography, I was working and doing it, that it almost became my identity of who I was. If you did not like a photograph that I did, look at my work. This is my value. Look at my work. This is my value. There was no value of Jeff. It was my photography valuing me. So I was seeking that attention outside of myself by, hey, look at what I'm doing. And that's me.
How did you change your relationship with that? What was the game changer? When was the pivot, and how did you get there?
The pivot was working with someone in my personal process that was bringing me to more of who I am. What I was doing with my life was simply an expression of me. And I had to start to realize that as an artist, as a photographer, what I was doing and continue to do this day is an expression of Jeff, an expression of me. It's not my validation. And it was a slow process of moving from that outer to the inner. But as I said earlier, I really didn't have much of a foundation of who I was. I had to build up because I never received from mom and dad that attention. Like, oh, wow, this is wonderful. This is fantastic. I never received that. So I had to build a foundation of that, which, folks, I'm still building to this day at 63 years old. It is just a building of a foundation of me inside of myself. So it was a process until I came to a conscious awareness that, wow, I'm always trying to prove myself. And the way I'm trying to prove that I'm worthy, that I'm wonderful, that I'm fantastic, that I'm lovable is if you like my art.
But see, you're off topic here, though. I want to bring you back. I'm not hearing. How did you grab? We're talking about attention grabbing. How do we? If you were defining yourself through your photography, but how did that translate into you seeking attention?
It was the work. It was the work I was doing to get the attention to me.
See what sort of accolades you got from the particular work that you did.
It was see my work. Oh, wow, look who I photographed. Oh, wow, look what I did. And if you even hear my 12-year-old inside of me. Look at this, look at this, look at this. Oh, yeah, oh, that's Jeff Fasano, that's Jeff. It wasn't, that's how I sought that attention outside of myself. When I would go out, I would have business card. Oh, look who I thought, look at this. It was all that attention, seeking that attention outside of myself that, like I said earlier, that was just looking for validation and inside of me, seeking the attention that would validate me in some sort of way.
Let me ask you this, from a perspective of relationships, women in particular, how did you seek attention from women in your throughout your life?
Same way. As a photographer, it was the same thing. I used that as a way to show that I am worthy, that I am someone, who you would like to go out with. I'm someone. Put it this way. It was, if I saw someone who I really liked, and if it was a woman, I would go up to them and say, "Hey, I'm a photographer. Could I photograph you?" It wasn't, and they would, "Oh, wow." And
so
then
that was your pickup line.
and I don't know what it was. It was, but that would be the attention grabber. How does that sound?
Mm-hmm.
So some men have a dog on a leash, and you had a camera around your neck.
You got it. You got it. And I lived, and I did that and did that and did that until, it was like, it was crazy. It was, just,
until last year, you reckon, brother? It's funny you mention that too, Jeff, because I'm in that creative space as well. And with my art, I guess growing up from a child, it was the same thing, brother. You come into that space, and particularly now with the online presence and the digital age that we're living in, it's so much easier to display your creativity or your works of whatever nature to get the validation that you're needing to fulfill. See, but when I changed my script, it's a very key word that you said there, and why I opened up and talked about this being another energy exchange in and out, all right, is because you said, how did I want to receive the attention? Well, my thing is, how were you paying attention? See, this is the currency. It's current. And this is what I want to get into, because when I flipped the script and I said, well, the attention that I'm seeking, the energy, the focus that I'm seeking is actually from within inside of myself.
Mm-hmm.
So when I detached from the actual outcome and became an income, this shit gets deep, my brothers and sisters. My own current, my own currency was the income of energy that I needed. Anything outside of that was just, let's just say, it's maybe a bonus. But the real current, the real currency or the energy, the attention that you're really seeking is from within. So we've got to ask ourselves, my brothers and sisters, what are we seeking to pay the current or the energy to, the attention to? And this is very good.
It's a beautiful question. That's a great question. And what I want to do is I want to bring back a post that Katrina said. I want to read it. I think it's really, really an amazing journey that she shared here. She says, when I first started singing on stage, it was all about me. But once I did the work to find my authentic self, being on stage became more about the audience. That was a game changer for me. It became about the music and those I shared it with, not about me. I was just a vessel to transport the music, and it was so much more than about me. So yes, I definitely shifted from attention to intention for sure. That is such a brilliant manifestation that she just shared there. I mean, that is, for me, what do you make of that, F?
And there she's topping it off with what she's just mentioned there. Attention is the ego, attention is the soul.
Exactly.
There you go. And the thing is, the key there, what she's saying as well, in that beautiful quote that the sister mentioned, is she shifted the energy. She was able to shift and shape to a different outlook or perspective on how she received and gave that energy.
Mm-hmm. And she shifted into a place of realizing that from her soul, she was expressing herself using the ability to sing.
And we're starting to realize that there is a bigger picture being painted. It's bigger than us.
There you go. There, I think you nailed it right there, Ev, because when we're seeking attention, it's all about us.
Mm-hmm.
When we're living a life of intention, it's going to be less about us and more about, I think, how we can be of service to others in a healthy way.
Mm-hmm.
And where the fulfillment comes, because I know when I was chasing attention, I was chasing it, but I never really got filled with it. I never really got the fulfillment from it. Mm-hmm. All it did was feed the ego.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't sustainable. Many of us do our best to sustain it for our lifetime because we don't know any other way.
Mm.
I want to go back to, I think you kind of touched on it early on when you were warming us up, Ev, is what part of ourself is the attention seeker? What part of ourself is willing to sell our soul unknowingly, unconsciously, to get the attention? And what's the why?
Mm.
Is it our ego? Is it our higher self? Or is it our inner child that's seeking the attention?
It's our
Mhm.
wounded inner child.
Yeah, 100%.
It's
But
like I
again,
said,
but again, it's the wounded inner child that's created the ego. You know, so the ego once again keep us in that safe space.
yes.
So it will seek the attention to fuel itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The ego is always looking us to stay in our comfort zones, and that's safer. The ego does not want to shift and change, and the ego will our ego or our defenses will fight to the death to keep our old in place.
Mm.
And we've got to shift and change that by, like I said earlier, becoming conscious and aware. And we're bringing up the question: are you seeking attention, or are you living a life with intention, and looking to see to where that wounded child is still seeking mom and dad, like I was, to say, great job. You look great. You look fantastic. Your work is amazing. You're a good baseball player. Because here's the thing. Those are affirmations.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's a difference between an affirmation of, yes, I am a wonderful coach. When we are coming from a healed place, when we hear, oh man, you are fantastic in that show, that's an affirmation that we can receive. Like Ev just said, the inflow of energy is an affirmation of what we already know, because we know who we are. Yeah, I am a good photographer, and I know it, and I am good. If somebody says that to me, all it is now for me is an affirmation that I can open my heart with gratitude and say, thank you for seeing me.
Beautiful.
Back when I was 40 years old, I was still seeking mom and dad's affirmations that I'm a wonderful kid, all of that good stuff. So when we're young, if mom and dad are conscious, what they're affirming by, oh wow, great game, Jeff. You really played a great game. Fantastic job. Wow, you did really well. Those are just affirmations to the wounded child, but most of us never received any of that. So we're still seeking it outside of ourselves.
Got it. Beautiful, Jeff. Beautiful. I want to bring up Shannon said here, I was never big on seeking attention until I was in major pain mentally. Shannon, I'd like to invite you to tell us more about that. What did that do for you, getting attention when you had major pain mentally? And how well did that work? Did it work well for you, or did it not? And where I want to take us now, guys, is what's the difference between being a victim and being a victor in relationship to seeking attention versus living a life of intentions? We know when a person shows up as a victim, how that usually turns out. And showing up as a victim, it's interesting. I met a woman. She's a server. She served us a number of times at a restaurant in town here, and she was in a really bad car accident. She should not have survived. She had massive injuries, a young mother of two. And she shared the other night that when she never wanted to be a victim, she always wanted to be a victor. But yet when she was in recovery and had to do some massive healing, her significant other said to her, it's okay to be a victim. You are a victim right now. You got injured big time. You shouldn't even be alive. And what was interesting is that what she shared with us is that she did not want to accept victimization. She wanted out of the gate. She was like, no. I don't want to live there. I don't want to be here. I want to use this as a motivation to set an intention for health and wellness. She did everything she could to rise out of that victim space of really significant medical conditions. But there's an example of someone who could have easily slipped into that mentality of being a victim and stayed there for months or years or the rest of her lifetime. I'm sure she still has pain. I didn't ask her that. I didn't ask her how she manages that. I'll break it down for you guys from being a victim to a victor. When I came out of my medical diagnoses, and the motherboard one was a pretty massive one, I joined a bunch of different groups on social media. And what I found was that the majority of people that had the same diagnosis as me showed up as victims. And it didn't take me long to net it out. And I was like, no, thank you. I don't want to be reading these feeds. I don't want to be living in this diagnosis that I got tagged with in 2015. I was doing everything I could do to reverse the disease, to heal the disease. And so for me, I had the awareness at some point, and I was in it for maybe a year. I mean, I was in it for a while, watching and seeing the feeds coming in. But at some point, I had the awareness that it wasn't good for me. I didn't want to be reminded of this diagnosis. I didn't want to live in it. I wanted to rise above it. I wanted to do everything to become victor. And so instead of promoting the disease that I had, I did everything that I could to start to promote how to heal and what the modalities are that I've chosen to get well and get the focus off of the disease and the focus on healing and sharing the healing journey. And to me, that was so much more powerful than living in the woe is me, because I have this disease that could take me out at any moment.
I have a question.
Let me just quickly say exactly what the brother said there, Jeff, because that's just the perfect demonstration of victim to victor. You had the opportunity, like in the same circle as a lot of those other people, to sit in that victim space and be caught in the disease, but it was your intent to be proactive, not reactive to the emotional and the actual mental stuff that you would have been going into to become a victor and create the reality that you wanted to see. And that is intention.
Boom. Boom. Now, the truth is that was brilliant what you just shared. It wasn't like I had an awareness immediately. It took me some time, but it wasn't like I was in it every day. I wasn't, the algorithms wasn't kind of spoon feeding me daily. But when I was getting it, if I was picking up a feed once a week, it was one too many. And it took me about 12 feeds or maybe 20 feeds. But at some point I had the awareness and I said, no, thank you. I'm out. I love what you said.
The question I was going to ask, and Jay chose to change, not even go into the story of I'm a victim, always me. I've got this illness. This is what's happening with me, and continue telling that story, which in some way, shape, or form is seeking attention. If I continue with this story, whatever that is for everyone, I've done it. When I, got hit with tinnitus a year ago, I went with the story for a little bit, and then I realized, I'm seeking attention for my tinnitus, and then I'm seeking validation. So continuing that story of I'm a victim, I have a very good friend who I grew up with, who to this very day continues that story that I'm a victim, because in some way, shape, or form, he's seeking attention it's a way I can get attention from people if I continue with that story that I'm a victim, that this is what's going on in my life, that this is what's happening to me over and over and over again. There's a part underneath in your subconscious that we are seeking attention by continuing with that same old victim story.
Well, where I'd like to take us right now, Jeff and Ev, is for those that are just picking us up late tonight, Josh is on set. They are shooting season 13 on Shark Tank, and he is deep in the tank. He was hopeful that he could join us from the studio tonight. He was ready to go live with us, but unfortunately, he's been pumping out 15 to 18-hour days right now. And so, unfortunately, he's got a night off from Real Men, Real Talk Live. I want to just take a moment here as we're about the halfway mark through the show to welcome our new viewers coming in from LinkedIn platform. Finally, after many months of waiting to be vetting to be completed, they finally invited us in to come in live on LinkedIn. So we want to welcome our LinkedIn viewers. If you should have any questions, if you're able to comment, please share away. If not, we welcome you to Real Men Real Talk Live. We are honored to have you join us from the LinkedIn platform. Of course, YouTubers and Facebook. We love how you've been supporting us. We're now in episode 66. And if you should find it in your heart space to donate, whether it be $5 or $10 or $15 or whatever you can afford to donate to us, we have a Venmo account now set up at Real Men Real Talk Live. We would appreciate any love donation that you can make to help support our program and the costs associated with it, which we have been absorbing for 66 episodes. So we invite you to share the love with us, and we'll continue to provide to you the content week after week, year after year, until we are told or given a different direction. But in any event, as we move forward, gentlemen, I want to shift gears here. I don't want to take us out of being a victim to heading into what being a victor can look like through setting intentions. What does it mean? How do we do it? What are some of the tools, tips, and tricks to break the cycle if we've been living in a victim mentality, to shift and pivot so that we can flip the switch and start to have a different relationship with our mental health and how we feel about ourselves? What does that look like, guys?
I think a big one for me, my brothers and sisters, is just start to learn some of these beautiful words. You know, like I said at the start of the show here tonight, and we're starting to actually just get a little bit of a nudge of what some of these words mean. And really, at the end of the day, when you've got the shin, the tion or the sion, which is suffix in the English language, on the end of some of these words, it's actually the action, it's the state or the process behind the word. So when you think of this intention, you think of this attention, you know, we're thinking about, you know, the direction that the mind, all right, our sister was talking about, she was only looking for attention when when her mental health was damaged, all right, mental. So we've got to think about where our mind is focusing on the present attention. When we're able to see if that mind is creating serving thoughts, is creating serving feelings, or non-serving or thoughts or feelings, then we can start making an intention to direct the energy, all right, the action of the attention in the desired reality or manifestation we want to see. So why I'm saying this is so deep, my brothers and sisters, because the language does really say it all. And with these words, like I said, that have shin, that sh sound, that very sh is an ancient word, my brothers and sisters, and you can go and look this up to yourself. But that sh was a download that I got in meditation when I was meditating over these two words, and it was confirmed this morning by simply the wind. Yeah, the wind. The active motion that is creating the force or the energy to construct the reality that we want to live in.
Mm.
And no word of a lie, my brothers and sisters, a name of a deity or a god in ancient Egypt just happened to be Shin, all right, which was God, Lord, whatever you want to know it as, of the air. All right, so stay with me because I'm just going to risk all of this up and put it all together. So once we understand these words, the action behind it, now we can become that creative Shin or that creative co-creator, God, behind our own creation. So what is blocking you, my brothers and sisters? We've got to go back to our beliefs. Is it a belief or is it a lie you're living? See, these are stuff that are buried deep down in that subconscious that you may be playing out, like we said last week on the manifestation show, unconsciously in your reality.
Mm-hmm.
We get rid of some of those self-sabotaging beliefs. We're able to bring in some nice self-talk. Maybe we can do that through affirmations, whether we can do that through meditation. Maybe we can do that through some of these other beautiful modalities that we all now have basic exposure to. And then we start to create a clear, let me say this again, a clear intention. It can't be one that is grubby. It can't be one that's dirty or based on someone else's action outside of yourself. But brothers and sisters, when you've got that clear intention and you practice some of these things like the visualization that we talked about last week, affirmations that we always talk about through meditation, or whether it's through visualization, like I mentioned, then we have to practice it daily. This can't be a muscle that's just going to go, oh, it feels good this week because Real Men Real Talk Live, they talked about it, and then all of a sudden you go back into the old way of you.
Yeah.
This has got to become a part of your state of being, my brothers and sisters.
What you're saying, Ev, is it takes practice. It's
Yep.
just
practice.
it takes practice every day.
Yep.
All day, every day.
It's not something that, like Ev just said, that was, you get your nervous system gets the hit of, these are great concepts. It is about how am I going to practice every single day to retrain our nervous system into positive intention that comes from our heart space of knowing who we are, honoring and valuing and loving ourselves, and saying, this is life. Not what do I want? What is important for me, for my life to be? We have to have that. That has to come from here, as opposed to out there. That's the whole consciousness. It just comes from, what do I want my life to be? What is important for me? What is that inside of myself? And then as Ev just said, what are the beliefs, the old beliefs that hold you in the place that, you can't attain that. You can't do that. What's that? What are those voices? So coming within and noticing all of that, bringing that to consciousns, and then standing in a place of power, like saying, this is life. Mm-hmm. Ev said on one show, what did you say, Ev, on one show? I forget, it was about a month or so ago. Jay, what did he say? It was for me, it was life changing.
I don't know some of the things I say, brother.
and I remember it has to do what I'm saying. It was in Ev's way of saying the old thing. We only have one go around in this world, and it was great. And when Ev said it, where I was, and it probably wasn't on the show, it might have been in our production meeting. Boom! It was one of those 2x4s. It was one of those things that you went, oh yeah, this is only one life. Why am I living in this? Why are these beliefs or the conditioning or the programming directing my life? I have to move within and start to direct my will for life outside of myself and set these intentions for myself of what is important for my life to look like so I can fully express the being of who I am.
Yeah, I love that, Jeff. I want to bring up Ron Alvarado's comment here. Ron coming in from somewhere up north. Actually, he's back in Idaho. We had a beautiful call yesterday. We had a nice video chat. It's been some time, and I reached out to Ron. I said, you know what, Ron? I'm thinking about you, and I want to see you. So we had a video chat for a little bit, and it was beautiful to catch up. Ron dropping a bomb right here. He says, we all want sympathy, but our soul desires what it knows. So intention becomes so different. It's being of old knowledge.
Yep.
And that's Ron, when you go from the ego space of sympathy to the soul space of a symphony, that's when you're living a life in intention, my brother.
Yeah. Right.
Hey, where do you come up with this stuff?
It's down for the crown, man.
Well, what he's talking about is the full expression of the soul.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's what we want, folks. That's what we want. We want to fully express what our soul has come into this lifetime to express. And I ask everybody out there, what do you want to express to the world? What do you want to express? What do you want to say? Mario Cabrera, my old photography teacher, Fasano, what do you want to say? What are you saying? And that's the same thing. That is so important. And we all have something that we want to express and say to the world. And that's giving. That's what and that is giving. That is true giving. It's not us doing, it's our soul expression is what we're giving to the world.
Magic.
Yeah.
Magic.
I want to share with you guys, for me, something that I've been practicing for some time now. It's been 2 or 3 years, if not more. Before I go into a moment, whether it be a meeting, a lunch, a coaching, a hike and heel, whatever it is, when I set an intention before I go in, it 99% of the time, I love the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, what setting the intention is about is it kind of gets me in focus as to what it is that I want to achieve in that moment. So for example, I could set an intention before I literally, let's say, go out to dinner, have a dinner with Mary. I could set the intention that I want to be 100% available. I want to be 100% there in that moment, present. I set that intention because I don't want to be drifting off in my thoughts or allowing my eyes to drift and look at other people. When I set that intention, I have a greater shot at staying present in the conversation at dinner.
Mm-hmm.
How many times do we walk into, like Jeff, you walked into a major convention today.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we just go in there, we roll out of bed, we take the shower, we get dressed, we know we're going to have many hours on our feet. We're going to be networking with people. We may be seeing people we know from our past, people we want to meet for the future. We're in our thoughts, we're in our head. But the game changer is that if we go in to NAM, like you went in today, before you walk in and you say to yourself what your intention is, for me, what the intention is about is how do I want to show up?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's about. It's not about setting an intention to manifest an outcome.
Exactly.
I mean, manifesting an outcome is different than setting intention of how I want to show up in that moment.
Exactly. Bingo.
Boom.
We're recording this because we always say things in our production meeting was like when Jay just said, we would ask, are we recording this? And we got it. That's Jay, you bang. Intentions are not about an outcome. That's us trying to stay in control and get attention in some sort of way. Intentions are how am I showing up? It's not what I'm going to this NAMM music thing, and my intention is to meet as many people as I can so I get as much work as I can. That's so narcissistic and about me that it's not about me showing up. It's me looking for an outcome. Therefore, that's not really an intention. An intention is I'm going to show up, and this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm here, but I'm fully going to be present. It's a better example of this is how I go into every photo shoot.
How do you go into every photo shoot?
I go in and I meditate beforehand.
Wow.
And the first words are, this is not about me.
Beautiful.
I would say, universe, God, use my talents, gifts, and abilities of what I do to be present in every single moment so I can capture that moment with whom I'm working with that will best benefit why they're hiring me.
Magic.
So I'm showing up, I'm opening up to get myself out of the way. It's not about me. I'm out of the way. So I can be open and clear in the moment that it comes, that I can capture it, which is my gift and ability. And then that is because I'm doing it for the client, the person, the band, whoever that is. This is what it's for. So none of it is about me except my talents, gifts, and abilities and love for doing what I'm doing.
Magic, brother. Wow.
And that's my intention for every time that I do a photo shoot.
Yeah, that's beautiful, Jeff. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that you're not showing up sleepwalking anymore.
I used to.
Well, we all did. We all did. And you know what? It doesn't mean that we did anything wrong. We don't know what we don't know. We don't know what we don't know.
Right.
Until we know it. Yeah. Before I walk into a hike and heel with my guests, I set the intention to now. And the intention I set is I actually ask God or the universe to just allow me to be the conduit, the portal, to allow to come up from within me what is wise, wisdom, for me to be present for the guest, for the client at that moment, and for the words to come through my lips, but the message to come from the universe. Yeah. I say that every time before I go into a hike and heel. And when I forget to say it, it's not the same.
Exactly.
It's just not the same. Because what that does to me is it reminds me to go in from my heart space, down my head space. That's what setting the intention is for me. It's giving me balance in advance. And it's just about asking the universe or asking Mother Earth or asking Jesus or asking God or whomever it is that is your higher power to give you the guidance to show up as your best self.
That's it.
It's like that Ricky Byers song, Use Me.
There you go.
How's that one go? Come on, Jeff.
Yeah.
Give us a demo, brother.
I'm not gonna. But it's about what the song is about use me as the vessel to give of my talents, gifts, and abilities to raise the resonance and vibration of someone else or the world. That's our intention, folks. Yeah. Our universal intention of why we're here is to move within, know who we are, know our Christ consciousness within, and then divinely open our heart space to be used as vessels to raise the resonance and vibration of someone else through the use of our talents, gifts, and abilities, and thus in a collective consciousness of the world. Ultimately, that's why we're here. And we just all choose to do it based upon what we love to do. Love. We go back a couple of episodes. What is love? Why am I choosing to set this intention? Well, it's through love. It's not what Jay, I'm telling you, Jay just put the stamp on this show, folks, when he said our intentions is not about an outcome.
That's it, brother.
So our intentions are what we want to bring to the world through what we love doing.
Yep. I love that, Jeff. Hey guys, we're coming up on 10 minutes to the hour, and I'm working the broadcast tonight to see if we can honor close to the hour. So what I want to do is I want to shift us for our new platform, LinkedIn community. You may not be familiar. This is the first time you may be catching a show. So this is the time of the show where we do something called magical or musical chairs. And what happens in this segment is the person that shows up on my right gets 2 or 3 minutes to either answer a question that one of us proposes or share tips, tricks, and tools on how to break through from being a seeker of attention to living a life of intention. One or the other, and or whatever comes forward for you in that moment. What I'm going to ask Jeff Fasano to take us out with, I'm going to ask you a question, Jeff.
You've asked me a whole bunch of questions tonight.
You feel like you've been on
we
a
started
hot
the
seat?
show. You're asking me questions.
Do you feel like you've been on a hot seat tonight?
No.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. I'm a little. You can probably feel my energy, my wired energy from standing on my feet today for about a good 9 hours.
You're starting to sound like a victim to me. We could have Katrina come on and sing you a song.
Yeah, man, she's lighting up some lyrics in there tonight in the comments.
There you go.
Well, you know what, Jeff? If you would rather me not ask you a question, why don't you give us a close of what comes forward for you?
Or Evis can ask me a question.
Okay, have you ask him a question, my friend? Yeah, I'm gonna let you take the hot seat.
Put me on the spot. All right, we're talking about intentions and attention. All right. So going forward, Jeff, and like you've talked about tonight how you went from attention, seeking attention, to that intentive space. Keep it nice and simple, brother. What is your intention going forward into this beautiful new earth?
It's continually to open up a line of a very healthy balance of giving and receiving with others. Being in relationship with others where what are your intentions for your life and giving and standing in a powerfulness of knowing who you are to give that to the world as you just said earlier, Ev, it's about that energy of of the energy that we're putting out into the world. Are we putting out into the world that I'm a victim, always me? I was the king of whiners many years ago. I whine about my life. That's the energy that I was giving to the world. Now it's a different energy. It's a different energy of knowing who I am, valuing who I am, but in such a healthy way where I'm realizing this is what I want to express to the world even more. But what's also important for me now is that exchange of energy in balance of giving and receiving that comes from a place of love, where we're all being champions for each other's highest good.
Magic, brother. Magic.
And that's my intention going forward. It's not about anything that I want to attain in life. being a rock star photographer, being whatever. It's not about that. We all have goals, but for me, it comes down to this: fulfillment within my heart space based upon my soul's plan, that I am conscious of the plan, and there is now fulfillment in my heart space in relationship to the world, in relationship to my talents, gifts, and abilities, the balance of giving and receiving, and the relationship with others.
Jeff, that sounds like nirvana, man.
That's possible, isn't it, Jeff? That is possible, brother.
When I say, so here's the thing, as Eva said earlier, what's most important is to be specific of what we want, of what our intentions are. So it might sound like nirvana, but it's very specific.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying, oh, I just want, what's important? Oh, peace. I just want peace. I want peace in my life. Oh, okay. Well, you get some peace. It's really about being specific in what we want and bringing that and expressing that energy to the world that becomes all inclusive.
Mm.
So where we're all inclusive in this, and then we have a world of the balance of giving and receiving without ego in place, without attachments in place. And as Jay said before, without those friggin' outcomes, just think about going into a relationship and not expecting an outcome and allowing it to flow in your divine plan. And you're in that place, and whatever is going to come of that, and you don't have attachments to it. Or if you're looking for an outcome and you have some attachments, just be cognizant of that, and then going in and allow this relationship to flourish. Folks, that's what the four of us have done that in the 66 shows that we've done. We've created relationships. At least for me, I never expected any outcome with these guys.
Mm.
Beautiful.
Magic, brother.
Jeff Fasano, breaking it down, bringing it home one more time. Episode number 66 on Real Men, Real Talk Live, coming in live on YouTube, Facebook, and our newest platform, LinkedIn. Welcome to the program, LinkedIn community. Everslove Heath, I'm going to put you in a hot seat now.
Warm me up, brother. Warm me up.
Well, I'm going to give Fasano the opportunity to hit you up with a question, just to kind of play a little ping pong here with you.
I just want to say, first of all, Jeff, man, I love your content. I love how creative and, the beautiful gift that you share with the world, because, one thing that I didn't hear in there, brother, and I know you mean it, but to share your gift and your talent, my brother, I just want you to know it's seen, my friend.
Oh, thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Jeff, can you take a nice deep breath? Let it sink in. Let it drop down into the heart space. Not the head space, the heart space.
No, it's there.
Okay. Sometimes silence is the magic, because when we take a moment to pause, we give ourselves permission to really receive it here, because in the past we would just receive it up in here, and that feeds the ego, it feeds the attention seeking, it fuels it. It doesn't just feed it, it fuels it. And one of the tools that I really embraced about 4 years ago, when I would get a compliment or an acknowledgement or an affirmation, I would actually take a moment with that person right face to face and just say, if I may take a moment just to pause, because I really want to receive it.
Magic.
Yeah.
And then I would just take that moment right there to take that deep breath and let it sink in.
Yeah.
It changes our relationship with a compliment.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff, I ditto that, by the way. I love the work you do. But more importantly than that, I love how you show up every week right here and how you show up in our production meetings. And have you been consistent with us in this program of Real Men, Real Talk Live now for 66 weeks?
Mm.
Whew.
Mm.
Karen Demick says, drinking it all in, receive it. Yes. Yes, 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 it's possible.
It is.
All right, Fasano, I want you to give Evis Love Heath a stinger tonight. Give him a hard one.
Well, actually, what comes to me is I just wanted to ask Ev, and he alluded to it earlier, but I'm looking to maybe go a little deeper into how you used to seek attention outside of yourself.
Yeah.
What was it inside of you or that wounded child? What was the wound that was revealed to you once you became conscious and aware? I am seeking attention outside of myself. What was that wound of the wounded child? And then what were the steps that you realized I need to shift this old behavior and move from the outer to the inner?
That's about 4 questions, Jeff. But
well, I was just in my head was like, wait a second, stop. But then I heard keep going. So I just
it's okay. Beautiful.
Yeah, no, I'll answer the best of my ability as always, my brother. But beautiful, beautiful questions. And, just to answer that first part of the question, I think as we've laid the groundwork out here tonight, a lot of that programming come from that young age. And I think many of us, we seek the validation. And I know me standing up in front of art class as a child, man, I had a flashback just when you were mentioning that of showing my work to the class and either getting a tick or not a tick. And what sort of appreciation was I getting from the outside world? Now, to start answering your question on how to move forward from that and how I did, I've done a lot of stuff online. I've got an online presence on here, just like our brothers here tonight on the show. And I guess one thing that Jay just hit me with as well was when you're seeking that attention from that outside space, I wasn't really honoring myself. I wasn't really honoring my achievements and my gifts that I've been able to share and the ability that I've been able to share with people as well worldwide to myself. But when I started to celebrate the work from within and celebrate just with me, how my celebration looks these days is I take a walk out in nature, man. I meditate on the download that I've actually shared with the world. And then I had to ask myself, okay, so what is it that I'm really seeking? Is it the attention of the outside world? Is it even the attention, the focus of something within? Or is it really the state of being? It was these beautiful emotions and these beautiful feelings that I was seeking. And if there's one thing that I can say to my brothers and sisters, as I'm always talking about, it's really become aware, like we've said tonight, of detaching from the outcome, detach from the result. Because my steps in being able to be a conscious creator or a master manifestor, as we mentioned last week, or someone that is intentionally living, is cutting the cord to the outcome and let the divine do the work from there.
Beautiful. Love that. Cutting the cord to the outcome.
Yep.
And letting the divine lead me there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, brother.
Now, what if you don't have faith? Can you still set intentions and live an intentional life if you don't have a relationship with anything outside of yourself? What do you think, Ev? Is it possible?
Well, this whole game's about self-awareness and self-realization. So we have to do the self-awareness work, the self-realization, because at the end of the day, my brothers and sisters, it's you that is God. You're co-creating down here. You are the masterpiece of the heart space down here. So whatever your faith, whether you don't have faith at all, what is the state of being that you are trying to fulfill from within? Heart space.
If you, can I just pop in?
No. Jay, I gotta show our viewers how even in real men can set healthy, loving boundaries.
All right, but I'm going to say it anyway because you say this all the time. Jay
I'll give you a pass.
One of the things that Jay says a lot on the show to us and in his work is how do we co-create our lives? Right, Mr. Rothman?
Okay. Sure.
How we are co-creators. Evis says it. We are co-creators. Well, who are we co-creating with? I'm not who are we co-creating with?
That could be lifetime's answers there, brother, or lifetime's questions.
That's all I want. Who are we co-creating with?
That could be the next show, actually.
I'm leaving that right there. Because we are co-creating our lives. Who are we co-creating them with, folks?
All right. Beautiful question, Fasano. You know, when we have these moments, that's when I flip you to Fasano. There's an appropriate time to refer to you as Jeff. Then there's Jeff Fasano. Then there's just freaking Fasano. Right? It's been an amazing show this evening. We're about an hour and 6 over. I've really enjoyed our deep dive into breaking it down. They're really coming from seeking attention to living within intention. I think we've done a really good job tonight of really sharing some backstories of how we all seek attention and some tips, tricks, and tools to live a life of more fulfillment, more presence, and a life fulfilled with intention. And so I'm going to invite whoever wants to hit me up tonight, hit me up with some deep question that's going to help me bring us home and take the show to a final curtain. Exit stage left.
Go ahead. What are you feeling, Jeff? You want to tag team up on my brother here?
You go. You start.
While you guys are figuring that out, I want to welcome Christopher Peckham. Shared something a few moments ago. Welcome to the show tonight. He is one of the most talented chefs that I have ever had witness to have a vegan, plant-based, gluten-free, dairy-free. Obviously, it's dairy-free if it's vegan. Food, amazing desserts. He calls home Flagstaff, Arizona. And we have been blessed with his presence. We were introduced to him. He is now a fan, a viewer of Real Men Real Talk Live. Welcome to the show tonight. Yes, that vegan cheesecake is absolutely to die for.
So now we know who is going to be the chef at our retreats.
You got it, no doubt. Yeah, Mary Kelly.
I'll start us off then, Jeff. What do you reckon? Have we got a couple of questions for the brother?
Go for it.
My thing is here tonight, we're talking about the attention and intention. My brother, you've done such a beautiful, message with Real Men Real Talk Live, created a beautiful platform and gained the attention of many beautiful brothers and sisters worldwide now. What could you say to our brothers and sisters that turn up each week in now? Your intention is now in moving forward for Real Men Real Talk Live, for the space of our brothers and sisters.
Okay, Jay, before you answer that, that's exactly the question that I was going to How friggin' in tune are we? I don't even have a question. That's exactly what
there you go, brother.
Through the love of your amazing heart, it was your intention. And then you could ask and answer what Ev said. It was the love through the love of your amazing heart, but your incredible intuition universally and connection that said, I want to bring these guys together to bring this message of my intention to the world.
Don't answer his question, brother.
So I think the question that Ev proposed to me was, what is my intention moving forward, looking forward for our podcast? And I'll say it's the same intention it was when I started it. It was just to reach as many hundreds of thousands of people that we can reach, especially, well, twofold. One, for men, to show men that it's possible to change how you show up in your life. It's possible to break the chain to toxic masculinity and find a balance within yourself, to feel comfortable, to love yourself in both balancing the masculine and the feminine divine, all within the same day, because today is all we have. That was my first intention, was to show men it's possible to have the courage and the inspiration to do that by watching and witnessing 4 other men doing it live each week, showing up consistently, not drunk, not in rage, not gaslighting, not in toxic masculinity, not talking about politics, sports, and the weather, but talking about topics that matter to all of us, but we're afraid to even listen in to hear the message. And the intention for the women was to show women that may have or are in some type of abusive relationship with a partner, whether it be a parent, a sibling, a husband, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a friend, a sibling, a boss, an employer, to get into the men's mind and give women that are seeking answers and seeking healthier relationships that perhaps maybe there are men out there that can meet them where they deserve to be met.
Mm-hmm.
And if nothing else, maybe some of our viewers are the conduit for their partners, for their spouses, for their friend. Many couples are this date night for them. And so there are women that have invited their friends into Real Men, Real Talk Live to listen to the message. Don't know how many of them stick around, but that's okay. The intention hasn't changed, guys. It's still the same. I just wish and hope that we can continue to grow and expand and touch as many people's lives as possible, especially through 2021 and beyond. This pandemic has caused such a travesty to mental health and to relationships, the most important one being with ourselves. And so we'll keep showing up as long as we are able, as long as we can come in live, as long as we are alive. That is my intention. I do want to answer. Ron Alvarado asked the question. I've just got to find it. Yeah, Ron says can we just talk all night? Yeah, well, of course, Lionel Richie said all night long. Ron Alvarado had a question for me. He says, why is intention better than attention? That's a beautiful question. I'll just give a simple answer, simple, not easy. Attention will never fill us up. It never filled me up. I kept seeking it. I kept chasing it. But I was never at peace with it. When I'm able to set an intention and live a life of intention, an intentional life, I don't need much more than that. That's part of how we can tap into self-love. That's part of how we can tap into coming home to ourselves. No more shame, no more guilt, no more blame, no more resentment, less judgment. That's a big one. Less resistance, less pain. We have a choice in life every day. We either can live in pain or we can feel the pain. When we feel the pain, we heal. We can release it. We can let it go. Much of that pain isn't even ours. It never was. It was our ancestors. It was our parents, our grandparents, our teachers, the bullies at school, the bullies in church, the bullies in synagogue, the bullies at work. An intentional life is a conscious life. It's me showing up for that little boy inside, JJ. It's me showing up for the people worthy of my love. It's simple, not easy. Because it takes practice. We have to break the chain, as Ev said tonight. We have to cut the umbilical cord from being a victim to becoming a victor. I thought I was going to make it through the show without getting emotional. But Ron, I want to thank you for bringing that question forward so that I could go in deep and just be. I love you guys. Another week. We're wrapping up episode 66. Josh Richard, we miss you. Hope you had Josh Richard celebrated his 45th birthday this week.
That's right. We didn't get to sing happy birthday to him on the air.
Wow, there we go. Maybe that's why he didn't show up tonight.
That's right.
He didn't want the attention.
Yeah.
That's the next show. Why don't we want attention?
Really, the next show. Why don't we want attention?
Well, this is always a time of the show where it's bittersweet for me. I love coming on live and I don't look forward to wrapping the show up because it means that we're not connecting heart to heart, soul to soul, man to man, viewer to viewer. But all good things don't come to an end, but all good things need to take a pause. We'll be back next week on episode 67 on Real Men Real Talk Live. I love you, brothers. I love you, viewers. Please share the show out. And again, we have a Venmo account set up, Real Men Real Talk Live. You could donate, a love donation, whatever comes from your heart, whatever you feel you can afford. We would appreciate whatever love donations you can support us with so that we can continue to put forward the work, the content, and the weekly, monthly costs associated with coming live every week on the three channels. And with that, I think it's a wrap, guys. What do you think? We good to go?
Me showing up for those worthy of my love. In quotes, Jay Rothman. I'm going to say it one more time. Me, folks, me, you showing up for those worthy of those I love.
Peace and
Dear
blessings.
Rob,
I love you guys. Have a beautiful week and do some self-care. Take care of that little boy inside. Take care of that little girl inside. Viewers, we love you. Have fun. Have a play date. Get out there and play. Get dirty. Get dirty and have fun. Love you guys.
later.
Peace.